I'm Miranda Jones Bailey, and we are currently in Youngsville Animal Hospital that we opened up in October of last year. Actually, our first hospital we opened up 10 years ago in downtown Youngsville in a small, previously medical office. The previous owner was a human physician that lived behind the hospital and would walk to work every day. And we actually had clients of his that ended up being clients of ours. So it was actually really kind of neat to, some of them were actually born in that facility. We grew fast in that facility and actually added on to it 2 years ago. It was always a neat story to talk to people and, how did it come from this little bitty human facility to a very busy, thriving veterinary hospital with not a lot of change, right? But change is phenomenal, and I really look forward to seeing what we have still to come, because we do have so much potential to grow. The biggest challenge here, I would say, in going from 2,000 square feet to 6,500 was I still can't find things. We have so many things, places to store stuff, that I have no idea where we store it a lot of times. So I think that is one big challenge, we're just still finding things. And then we worked a lot before we opened on flow. So we would take days off and have our team come over to work on flow so we wouldn't get lost and we would have our routine before actually opening, right? We try to minimize the wait time for our clients. We realize they all have busy lives, they don't want to sit and wait. And so if we flow through the hospital efficiently, it makes the wait less for the clients, it makes the wait less for the patients, and maybe they don't get as anxious.
So I work closely with the Baileys. They would bring plans over, we would sit and look at the flow, making sure that our flow at the old hospital, how that would integrate into the new hospital. So really just keeping that in mind and trying to implement that into the new space.
So the craziest thing is it's a drawer. It is a drawer. So we have a drawer that goes from pharmacy to reception, and it's a pass-through, and it was an architectural nightmare. If you actually look in behind the wall, there are stacks of 2x4s, I don't know anything about wood, probably this thick to hold that supporting wall up to have these drawers come through. But it is so when a client comes in and has requested a refill, my receptionist doesn't have to get up and leave the front. She literally spins her chair, pulls the drawer out, grabs it, and is able to hand it to them. It was the one thing that I asked for. You want, when clients walk in, you want somebody there to say hi, right? The whole point of somebody sitting there is to have that warm, friendly face, that concierge aspect. But also, that's extra steps that the team has to do.
So Dr. Jones Bailey actually attended 2 GPSs with us, Guiding Practice Success. The first one was with her first location, and I believe that was in 2014. That was actually the first time I met her, was in the airport in Tampa, Florida, at the bar. And I really bonded quickly with both her and her husband, Mike. So that was for their first practice. I remember walking into that clinic. It was an old doctor's office built in the 70s, and it still very much so had that 70s feel. And I remember saying to her, "You're gonna outgrow this place." And sure enough, she did.
My Patterson reps have been so phenomenal, just supporting it every step of the way. Even in my first hospital, they were painting walls for me on day one. So we could get, Danielle and Chelsea, they're painting blue walls for me.
So we helped this doctor build her first practice about 12 years ago when she first came to Guiding Practice Success. Now that she is in her second location, this is her big forever home. It just takes me back to those beginning days at that first practice when the territory manager and I were actually literally painting trim and painting walls.
One of the really fun things I like to tell people about was when we first opened Youngsville Animal Hospital dual location, we had clients who came in, would be sitting in an exam room and say, "Oh my goodness, I can remember sitting here as a child 40 years ago with Dr. Corkening." That speaks to just the feel of what this community is. This community has embraced us more than we could ever imagine and hope for. We know the mayor by first name. We know the town commissioners by first name. We know the police chief by first name. It has that Mayberry feel to it, but with all the amenities of what a large area like being part of the Triangle can give you.
Yes, so I was part of the installation here. It was myself and another technician, and we installed the kennels, we installed the dental x-ray, we installed their x-ray table. Actually was moved from their old location to here, so we had to unassemble it and then reinstall it. And then we did other small equipment as well. But yes, I was involved in that process, and I have been working with them since I started with Patterson. So I'm very familiar with the clinic and the customers. I've known them for quite a while, and they're a very good clinic.
Service technicians are a unique attribute for Patterson. Our service techs are employed by Patterson. They drive Patterson vans. When you see them in the parking lot, when you see them driving down the road, that's a service offering that other distribution companies do not have. They might have some level of service. It might be contracted out to local contractors, but these are Patterson employees. They're trained. We have a training facility that they go to for some items in Charlotte, North Carolina. I mean, these guys know how to fix everything. It's incredible.
So my one piece of advice for customers would be to, after you have a new build, is to look into a service agreement for servicing your equipment. You know, new equipment, you want to make sure that it's getting serviced regularly and keep it in good shape, and so it's not going down.
If you're in this position where you feel like you can, believe in yourself and bet on yourself, and you're going to do it. You know, we've only been in here about 4 months. We have seen a tremendous, just a tremendous growth, a tremendous, again, there's stumbling blocks. They're always going to be there. But if you have that conviction in yourself, and you have that plan, and you have that organization and that belief, do it. Do it. Bet on yourselves. You're there for a reason, right? So go get it.